Okay, sports fans, this is December 2020. It is test 10 in my continuum. Number one, we talk about distributing a negative 7. So it would be negative 35a plus 7b. Give the negative 7 to both. And then we give the 3 to both, so it's negative 24b plus 3a. Adding the a's, which are like, you get negative 32a and negative 17b, choice E. This is a story. You will pay $35 plus $15 per person and spend at most. What does at most mean? It means less than or equal to. So whenever you see the word at least, you say greater than or equal to. Here we can spend at most, and they reverse those two down here for the answer K. 3 is also a story. 312.8 is means equal. 34%, you can either choose 34 over 100 or 0.34 times x. So I just divide 312.8 by 0.34 to get my way out of that, and the answer is 920D. You could also have used equation solver to get that. You could have put those numbers into solver. Okay, what is the distance between T, that's here, and the midpoint of RS? Well, the midpoint of RS would split it into two 4s. 4 and 4 make 8. So from T to that midpoint would be 18, the length, plus the 4, the half length. Answer J. 5 is a repeat problem. It says, given that the first member is a senior, so there's not 9 juniors and 11 seniors. The first one was a senior. What is the probability that the second one, so there's not 20 in the group anymore, there's 19, and 9 of them are juniors. So it's 9 out of 19, choice A. Least common multiple is a program, 60, 70, 90. Real proud to offer that to you. You can hit alpha L to get there, and all you have to do is hit 60, 70, and 90, and it gives you the answer 1260. So that's a break right there to get that. Seven's a tough one in a way. It's 8 wins and 5 losses, and we want to win more than 50% of our games. So it's 8 out of 13 because it's 8 plus 5, right? So how many do we have to win of the remaining 10? So that means you're not going to be playing 13 anymore. You're going to have to be playing 23. So can we win 3? 3 would make it 11 out of 23, and that is going to be less than the answer, because 11 over 23 is under 50%. You see, when you divide them, you get 0.47. That's 47 or 48%. But when you add 4, you get to 12, and 12 is going to be enough because 12 is more than the halfway point. So you want to win 4 more games in order to get to 12 wins, which will give you over a 50%. See how I say that? All right, 8 is solve the equation. You could use solver. Let me just go through a solver one time with you. You go math, last, solver, and I love this calculator. because I could put in 2 open parentheses x minus 12 plus x and put that equal to 24 and hit OK. Solve is alpha solve for me. I think it's just hit F5 again, and the answer is 16. Lickety split there if you're fast with it. If not, you probably just want to distribute the 2, add the x, and then solve it from there by adding 24 and dividing by 3. This is non-random, and you're just surveying because you're taking a group and you're saying, okay, we're going to take the specified group. It's the honors people only, not the whole group. So it's definitely not random. Random would be to pick a student at the school at random, not from a particular group. And all we're doing is sampling that little group. So the choice is E. Weird question. All right, look at this. ABC is translated. Look at all the points, y'all. C is moved from here to here. B is moved from here to here. Where are we translating across? We're translating across the y-axis to get those points. It's K. Building a fence is perimeter. So if the park is 30 by 25, we need to know the perimeter by adding up all the sides. So that's 50 and 60 is 110, and we're paying $4. Oh, wrong place. 110, and we're paying $4 per square foot. So we're going to end up with about a $445 fence. Choice is A. I had a lot of reactions to this one because you could use a lot of the programs. A TV's size is told by its diagonal, and the width is 22.7, and it says the length. We could use program leg to get this. The length is 10 inches less than the width, so it's that, and then you multiply. But we could have used leg to get that. If you can't see it, it's 12.7 times 22.7 to get the area of the rectangle is 288. Okay? Division is subtraction of exponents. Covering a lot of that right now in my Algebra 2 class. So it's a to the 4th. Okay? This one bothered me a little bit, only that they never do area of ellipses, but they do shaded regions a lot, and it's the whole thing minus the inside hole. So basically the whole thing would be 6 times 4, 24, and the little thing is pi AB. And they tell us what A is. It's half the major. So the major is 6, so it's 3. And B is half the little one is 2. So it's 24 minus 6 pi. Those ain't going to add together. The answer is H, 24 minus 6 pi. Haven't seen anything like that. This one, you solve for x by adding the root 3 and then dividing everybody by 2, and they do split the 2. So the 2 is split into each number, and the answer is C. 16 makes me mad. When you want the largest product out of a sum, you want the closest numbers possible. Now, it's supposed to be even integers that add up to 18, so we could do them all and see. So 2 and 16 make 18, 4 and 14 make 18, but the closest is going to be the largest product. You see, the product goes up as we walk it. So the answer is 8 times 10. Tough problem for 16. Yeah, you're walking at a right angle, so point 3 east would be moving this way, huh? And then point 4 north would be moving this way. How far are we from home? That's the hypotenuse. So you enter in the program hypotenuse. You can just hit for the legs. A are interchangeable, really. I could have done it backwards. It's 0.3 and 0.4, and the hypotenuse is 0.5. That's how far away you are. Many will recognize that as the 3, 4, 5 right triangle. Oh, isn't this lovely? It's the matrix program, alpha F3. I'm always set to a 2 by 2. So I go 10 minus 13, and then negative 8 and 11 for my first one. You should be good enough after practicing that this isn't that hard to enter because of this matrix option. Negative 9, negative 17, and what's that? Negative 8 and 14. And that should give you the answer straight out, does it? 19, 4, 0, negative 3. It's K. Pretty cool, huh? People look for a program here, but it's solved for y. So 5y is negative 2x plus 9. I'm tossing him out and dividing by 5. Now, where's the slope? Y equals mx plus b. So the m is sitting next to the x, and you get negative 2/5. Answer is B. Add your mixed numbers here. The worker, no difference, is 9 1/4. Let's use the calculator for that. So we're going to go 2. So it's 9 1/4 plus 6. Oops. 6 3/4. Got to get rid of that 6 somehow. Let's clear it. And then plus 7.5 hours. So that's this. And that's the number of hours my employee worked at $7.20 an hour. So you times it by 7.2, and we're in the 169 range. Oh, I missed the 8 hours, huh? I missed the 8-hour second day, didn't I? Sorry about that. $226.8. It was 4 days. Forgive me, I'm rushing here. You know how I do the videos. It's just to hammer through it. Now this one's going to be true for none. I rewrite it so the x is first. And here I need the y over and the 12 out of here. Now when you put that in, the calculator is going to give you something weird. I've really honestly been so long since I've seen one. But if you go -2, 1, 6 for the first equation, and for the second equation you go 6, -3, and -12, it's going to tell you something weird. It just gives you the same slope. So it's not going to help you find a solution because there ain't one. This one's funny. If you select somebody from A, well, that's 9 different selections. So what's the probability that it'll be in C and B? Well, the only people in C and B is 4 and 8. So there's only 2 numbers here who fit that bill, and the answer is 2 out of 9, G. This one took me about a half hour, and I was mad because I was reading it, and all it is ratio proportion. 3/4 of an inch is 2 miles on the map. So how far is 3 3/8 inches? Is it 3 3/8? That's all they were asking. It took me a year to figure it out with all the words and the picture. So I do get to use my calculator here. It's 3 3/8 times 2. So a lot of people hate these mixed numbers. And so you can just enter them on the calculator. And then you're hitting divided by 3/4. So either make it a fraction or put it in the calculator, and the answer is 9. You're dividing by 3/4 because it's 3/4 x was this product. Okay? Yeah, this is just saying who had more than 4 hours of TV. Not these guys, not these guys, these guys. So you add those up, and it made 57. I hadn't seen 25 in years. If one side of the square is 6/2, and when you're looking for 4, go 4 on one of the things. So this would be possibilities. So I'm taking the number and adding 4, subtracting 4, adding 4, subtracting 4, and it's 10/2. Of course, I saw it right away, but I hadn't seen that problem in a long time. Outlier, this is the Bill Gates problem. I'm adding, an outlier is added to the data. So I'm taking a number like 2,000 and adding it to it. Outlier does not belong with the players. So what's going to change? Which of the following has no change in value? Well, the average changes, the mean, but who does not is the median. The middle is still going to be in there. Okay, and the mode is the mostest. He's not going to change the mostest, right? So the answer is J. I call that the Bill Gates problem, the Warren Buffett problem. If he moves into your block, what's he going to change? He's only going to change the average, or the mean is the only thing that's going to change. Your median house isn't going to change, and the mode isn't going to change because he ain't like nobody. Okay? 27 got me for a second. It's triangle RST, and R is the included angle, boom, boom, between the two sides. So R is the weirdo. R is 50. 180 minus 50 is 130. And these two guys are 130 over 2. So the answer is 130 divided by 2, which is 65. Watch how they say included. Included meant the vertex. I had it wrong when I first drew it. You know what? This is distance, plain and simple. But I don't think my program takes the mixed number. I think the programs have trouble with handling the mixed number thingy. So you have to enter it as a improper. Let's see if I could get it to show you that. If I try to, I know it didn't work. Yeah, you see that weird thing? So what you have to do is enter 16 thirds. -3. I'm changing it. And negative 14 ninths for 1 and 5 ninths, negative 3. And it's going to give you the distance of 6.888888, and just take that and try to Mathafracca and see if it will. Otherwise, you have to work it out. It's not doing it, but it's 6 and 8 ninths. It's the only answer with 6 in it. So the choice would be J there. We won't have to do too much. Okay. 29 is we are purchasing 100 pounds to the nearest cent. What is the dollar value is equal to the total price for a storage for 100 pounds? So all that is to plug in, let's see, hikers sell raisin nut in bulk to stores. The amount per pound for a store's purchase of X pounds. And so you put 100 in there, huh? Is that gonna work? 3.5 plus 0.9 to the 100th. That's not gonna work. And it's per 100, so it'd be 350. Sine of C is 5/7. Seen this before. So the ratio of opposite to hypotenuse is 5:7. And what do we got? We got 14 for the opposite, and we have X for the hypotenuse because they're looking for AC. So 5X is 98. Cross multiply, divide. The answer is 19.6J. 31 is tricky. The first term is 27, second, third, and the fourth is 64. So the change, there's 1, 2, 3 changes. So the change to the third power is 64. It's an R, and it's 64 divided by 27. So you take the cube root of this, and you get the number that's being offered there. The cube root of 64 over 27 is 4/3. So when you go math, cube root of 64 over 27, you find that the change is 4/3 math frac. So that's the R we're looking for. And then you use the geometric series formula, which is AR to the n minus 1. So it's the first term, 27, times 4/3 to the n minus 1 is answer C. Tough one. They haven't used the formula before. What I ended up doing with this one is it flips over, it's flipped over across the x-axis, so that makes it do what? This, huh? And then we flip it across the y-axis. That makes the F do this. And then we turn it clockwise this way, and it makes it into its choice G. It makes it into this. I found it easiest just to flip the main spring here, boom, the long line, boom, and now when I flip it 90 degrees, it's going to be horizontal. So I looked for answers that were horizontal, and I knew it had to face up. So the only two answers were these two, and I knew it had to face up for G. This was plug and chug. I started to look for a formula. When you divide it by 6, it has a remainder of 3, and a remainder of 6 when you divide it by 9. So I said, all right, they're looking for the least. So I started with 15, and it was 15. When you divided 15 by 3, it goes twice. And when you divide 15 by 9, it goes once. The first would have a remainder of 3, and the second one had a remainder of 6. So the first one worked, luckily. Halfway between is the average. So take 2/8 plus 6/14 and divide it by 2. I don't even use the fracker. I just put it like that. Answer, average, halfway, is divide by 2 mathifraca. So it's 19 over 56. Tough problem, but just know that halfway between is the average. This one you got to think out. An average change at 11 p.m. it was -2. So it was the temperature was the difference per hour was -2 degrees. So at 11 p.m. it was 42, huh? So what I did was I just did it by hand. I just said, all right, we're going to add 2 to go backwards, since it's been falling 2 the whole day. So at 5 p.m. it's 54, 4 p.m. 56, 3 p.m. 58, and 2 more 2s, so it's 62. Love 36, that's why you take the class. It's 7 plus 6i. I is second decimal squared. It does it for you. 13 plus 84i. Bada bing. 37 is Pythagorean theorem. One travels at 40 miles an hour. They're traveling at a 90-degree angle. So this one's going to go at 40 miles an hour. This one's going to go at 60. But we don't know how many hours, so I'll give it an X, and it's how long till they're 200 apart. So I actually did Pythagorean theorem here. It's 1600 x squared. I have to square all the sides. Plus 3300 x squared is 200 squared, which should be 40,000. And I have no problem putting this into solver, but it should be, sorry, that's got an X. So it'd be 5200. So it'd be 40,000 divided by 5200, and then that's x squared. So you take the square root of that to get the answer. So it'd be 2.77 or 2.8, choice B. All right. What else could you have done? I'm not sure. You could have plugged and chugged. You could have tried 1.4 and said, all right, x is 1.4. So 40 times 1.4 would have been that. 60 times 1.4 would have been that. And then tested it versus Pythagorean theorem. Would 56 squared plus 84 squared equal 200 squared? And no. And of course it would work for the next one, 2.8, or at least be close. This one, I read it and I was like, all right, what are they doing here? They're all kind of different informations. One is wingspan, maximum speed, this is threatened, and this is just population. So the conservation would consider threatened if they're 225. That's 10 years later. So it's threatened if it declines by 30%. So you take the 320 million and times it by 30%, and you decrease by that much. So it'd be 320 minus 96 million. If it lost 96 to 100 million, it would be down to 224 million, and that would be the right answer down here, huh? Which would be K. There's the 224 million. What is the 3.2 times 10 to the what? So I just move it over, huh? 320 million. Uh-oh, they made me do the number. So a million is like this. So 1 million would have a 1 right here. And it's 3.2. Now let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Choice E. This one was a bother because the robin only flew for 15 seconds. So the maximum speed is 3168 for 60 seconds. So how much does she fly in 15 seconds? I would cross multiply 15 times 3168 is that maximum, and then divide by 60, and that's how many beats 792. Okay, but you got to be careful. It's how many meters. So she goes 792 feet. Look at these suckers. 792 feet, and 1 meter is 3.3 feet. So you convert by dividing by 3.3. Jerks. I hate when they do something like that. I got 240 for the answer, not 792. All right. This one is strange. You have to be careful. Negative x is not necessarily less than x, because x could be negative. These could be equal if x were negative. This would only be equal if x were positive. These two are never going to be equal because a negative absolute value is negative and a positive absolute value is positive. It can only be equal if there's 0. So which of the following is true for all numbers? It's D. The absolute value is always equal to the absolute value of a negative. This one's midpoint given because B is equidistant and they're on the same line. So you use the program mid-given. I go alpha M to find it. There it is. So the midpoint is given as B, 6, 8. And the third point is 3, 5. So who are we? We are 9, 11. G. Okay. This one's cool. They always offer this second quadrant. So the theta is actually over here. And the sine is the opposite 8, right, over the hypotenuse 17. Use leg. Leg will get you the third side. So if we use program leg, some of y'all know this side already. It's 17, and the other one was 8. And it gives you the third side, which is 15. Now careful. We're moving to the left, so it's negative, and that's going to give you the cosine. The cosine is negative 15 over 17. They usually don't offer the positive there, so you can't screw it up, but we are moving to the left. Average is total. So the average of 10 numbers is 75. If you multiply them, you get 750. Then I notice that I entered incorrectly 73, so didn't I lose 5? So the total was really 745 divided by 10, which is an average of 74.5. So the average, wait, I should be 5 higher, my bad. It's the same answer, but it's 5 more. So the average is 75.5. So it's 0.5 higher. Sorry about that. 45 is a bass backwards. It's 30% off the regular price. So the regular price is reduced by 30% to make 84. So that's how you do that, because they're not giving you who we're taking the 30% of. So it's that equation. I would use the solver for that. Okay, and it's 1x minus 0.3x gives you $84 for the price. Okay, alpha solve, and the price is 120. Why is it doing that? X, 1x minus 30% off of x is 84. Okay. Let's put in some of the numbers. Let's put in 100. Goes to 120. Oh, 120 is the answer. Gee whiz, I'm losing it. All right, this one's tricky and difficult. It says a bunch of information about car companies and who has these cars. So given that no owner is chosen twice, which of the following gives the possibilities that both owners chose would be in the same age bracket? So you have to take this one and say, all right, what's the chance that both are in this one? So the first one would be 80 out of 335 times the second one would be 379, and then you have to add that to the possibility that both of them are in the middle age bracket of 26 through 45. So it's this one right here. Each one is counting the positions. 80 times 79, 155 times 154, and 100 times 99. That one's a tough one. This one's easy. It's 26 to 45. What's the closest to the average owned per company? So it's just 155 total over 3. Because it's 3 companies. So the answer, I think, is 51.6, which goes to 52. A circle graph. So how big is the angle sector? It's of 360 because there's 360 degrees in a pie. You cut it in half, each pie would be 180 degrees. So the 16 through 25, company A would be 16 out of 80. So it's 16 out of 80 of 360. If you multiply that, the of 360, it'll give you the answer. Oh, always do that. 16 out of the 80 times 360. And that gives you 72 degrees for the A. How much would B be? B would simply be, what is it? 24 out of 80, and then C would be 40 out of 80, which would be half, 180 degrees. All right. What is the area of the triangle? Well, you need to use altitude base. So the base is sideways. It's this one right here, is the difference between 4 and 10, 6. And this one is the difference between -3 and 5, 8. So that's how you do it. It's 8 and 6 for the altitude and base. So area of triangle, altitude is 8 and the base is 6. The area is 24. Easy cheesy if you see it. Okay. This one, I've never seen this on an ACT, so it just means to plug in 1 into G. So that's right here. And what do you get for your answer? 2. So G of 1 is 2. And now you're plugging in 2 into F. And what does the table give you? -6. That's all. All right, the hard mamma jammas. Joe and Carmen, and Dave, the ratio of Joe to Dave is 3 to 2. That means that 2 Joes is 3 Daves. So what's next? Dave to Carmen. Dave to Carmen is 3 to 4. So 4 Daves are 3 Carmens. And we want Joe to Carmen. So let's use Dave as 2/3 Joe and substitute. So Dave is 2/3 Joe in this one, and that's equal to 3C. So this is 8. 4 times 2 is 8J. Times by 3 is 9C. And what ratio we want? We want Joe to Carmen. So we're going to divide by 8 and divide by C. Joe is to Carmen as 9 is to 8. Lovely. 52, you'll be glad I misread. I misread it and missed it when I did it the first time. It's 2 pi r, the circumference. It's how much you need here is 10. So the radius is 10 over 2 pi. So what is needed for all the regions? I just solved for the big one because the big one is 2 pi times 3r, because it's 3 radiuses to the outside. So it's 6 pi r. But the r is 10 over 2 pi. So the pi's cancel and you get 30. But that's a mistake. This is 30. This one is 20. And the inner ring was given as 10. So you have to add all 3 to get 60 for the answer. A log is base, ln is base e. So if you know your logs, e squared is equal to x, and that's your answer, e squared e. You can also do it on the calculator with solver. Lnx, ln is right here. It's supposed to be equal to 2. Okay. And the answer is 7.38. Well, that's e squared. Let me show you where e is. It's second, right here, divide. Let me try it again. It's blue, divide. And e squared will give me 7.38, which matches up. This one wasn't so bad. I got confused by the marks. It's the fifth element, which is a 5 by 5 square, huh? Because it's 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. And each one is 18 inches long. So it's, what is that? 18 inches is a foot and a half if you divide by 12. So it's 1.5. And then each one is 1.5. So I got 5 of them. So I got 7.5 and 7.5. So the perimeter is the adding up of all 4 sides, and I end up getting 30, which is K. Common denominator is 2x plus 4, because the 2 comes out of here. So you have to multiply this one by 2x plus 4, and that gives you 4x plus 8. This one just gets a times 2, and this one gets nothing. It stays the same. So it's 10x when you add them, plus 2 over 2x plus 4, and lo and behold, everybody gets divided by 2, and you get 5x plus 1 over x plus 2. 56 is way tricky. It's looking for the area, and you have to drop the altitude, which it almost looks like is BC, and the A is here. Now the area is 1/2 the altitude times the base is 10. Now who is this altitude? Is SOHCAHTOA. So sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse. So the sine of 30 is A over 11. So A is 11 sine 30. So you have all this muck in here to get the answer. You got 11 and 10 and sine 30 and the 1/2. And the choice is this one. You're going to be shocked. I just looked for clean answers. I took these numbers here as answers, and I knew it had to be a big number here. Nobody's going to make 372. And I said, what's 372 over both of these numbers? And this one made a clean 6%. So when I took what was it? 372 and divided by 6,200, it made a nice percent of 6. So I said, oh, what if the percent was up a percentage? It must be 7, and I got 434. So backwards plug and chug, and the answer is E. This one is the use of the discriminant. It's a quadratic, and b squared minus 4ac, and the a and c are 1, so b squared minus 4 has to be greater than 0 to have no real solutions. It has to be less than 0, because then the I is the imaginary root. So this happens whenever b is between -2 and 2. Get used to studying ellipses. It's x squared over the x radius is 4 squared, and y squared over the y radius is 7. Bada bing, the answer is C. I'm going to start preparing more of those. And this one, think about factoring. If one answer is -3, isn't x plus 3 one of the factors? Well, how many times does 3 go into 6? So you need a -2 here. These ain't going to make 6. And this one would be plus and plus. So real simple. The answer has to be F.